Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Jenny Halpin, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Lieutenant Amy Jeffers. This evening, we are honoured to acknowledge Vice Admiral Justin Jones, Chief of Joint Operations, Headquarters, Joint Operations Command. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. Now, if you are able, may I invite you to stand and join in singing the national anthem. If you require a seat, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private William Draper Jones. William Jones was born in Gympie, Queensland on the 19th of February 1886, the eldest child of William and Mary Jones. Little is known of William's early life. He attended Gympie Central School, then began working as a miner in the town, following in his father's footsteps. He was also a member of the Gympie Cadets. In 1911, when William was 25, his mother Mary died, leaving William's father to care for his children alone. William enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 18th of March 1915 and was assigned to the 15th Australian Infantry Battalion in the rank of private. After 3 months of training, Private William Jones left Brisbane on HMAT Corula on the 12th of June, bound for Egypt. Arriving in late July, he joined the rest of the 15th Battalion in Reserve Gully on the Gallipoli Peninsula on the 30th of July 1915. The battalion were preparing for the offensive planned for the beginning of August. From May, the British and Ottoman forces had largely been locked in a stalemate. The August offensive was intended to break through the Ottoman lines and enable the British forces to push across the peninsula to capture Constantinople. As part of the August offensive, the 15th Battalion was ordered to assist in the capture of Hill 971. Hill 971 was the highest point on the Sari Bear Ridge. On the night of the 6th of August, the attack on Hill 971 started. The 15th Battalion formed part of the left column of the assaulting force and began their approach at 10:25 p.m. The difficult terrain on the approach to the ridge made the advance slow, and by dawn on the 7th of August, the battalion was well short of its objective. After consolidating the ground gained on the 7th of August, the final assault on the summit of Hill 971 was attempted on the 8th of August. In trying to advance their position on the northeastern spur, the 15th Battalion was exposed to heavy machine gun fire. Although some ground was gained, the arrival of the Ottoman reinforcements ultimately forced the 4th Brigade to withdraw. The attempted advance was costly for the 15th Battalion, which incurred 417 casualties in a 48-hour period. One of these casualties was Private William Jones. William was wounded in his left hand while advancing on the 8th of August and was captured by the Ottomans on either the 8th or the 9th. He was initially transported from Gallipoli to Constantinople for treatment. He was then transferred to Belomedic Camp in 1916 to work as a labourer on the construction of the Berlin to Baghdad railway. William remained in Belomedic for most of 1916 before being transferred to Afyon Kara Hissar Camp on the 25th of January 1917. At the time of his transfer, William was suffering from the effects of hard labour and unsanitary conditions and was sick with dysentery. He died of dysentery less than a week later on the 31st of January 1917 at Afyon Kara Hissar Camp Hospital. He was 30 years old. William's body was initially buried at the Armenian Cemetery at Afyon Kara Hissar alongside other Australian prisoners of war. In 1927, as part of efforts to consolidate the graves of British prisoners of war buried across the Ottoman Empire, William's body was exhumed and reinterred at Baghdad War Cemetery in Iraq. On the anniversary of his death in 1918, William's brother inserted a memorial poem in the Brisbane Courier. Only a grave of a hero, only a mould of earth, far from the land of the wattle, the place that gave him birth. Somewhere in Turkey he's lying, he answered his country's call, and died an Australian hero, fighting to save us all. William's name is also listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private William Draper Jones, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.